Has this question ever bothered you? Why relationships start but never last? Some people struggle to find love, but others have the opposite problem. Relationships enter their life easily, they fall in love, connection begins, but somehow none of them last. Every relationship eventually collapses. And after a few years, a painful question starts appearing. Why does this keep happening to me? Astrology actually has a fascinating explanation to this pattern. You might have experienced something like this. You meet someone, that connection feels intense, relationship starts very quickly, feel like this is something, it's almost perfect for a few months, and you feel this is what was destined. But slowly something starts changing. Misunderstandings appear, emotional distancing grows, or sometimes abruptly relationship ends. And after repeating this cycle several times, people begin to lose faith in love itself. But in astrology, this pattern often comes from very specific planetary influences. So let's look at the astrological explanation. When the relationships start easily but fail repeatedly, astrologically we look at three key factors in the birth chart. The fifth house, which governs the romance, the seventh house, which governs committed relationships, and the Venus, which represents attraction and emotional bonds. One of the most important influences is in unstable relationships is Rahu, because Rahu is the planet of obsession and illusion. So if you have a Rahu conjunct or you have a Rahu aspect on the house of relationship or the Lord of relationships, that is where Rahu influencing the fifth house or the Venus, relationships can begin with extreme attraction. Connection feels powerful, magnetic, but Rahu creates emotional illusions. So once the initial intensity fades, relationships may collapse. Now, the other part of the same is Ketu, where Ketu is a representation for detachment. When Ketu influences the seventh house or Venus, people may unconsciously withdraw emotionally from the relationships. Even if the relationship begins well, the person may slowly feel disconnected. Sometimes the chart may show combinations like Rahu conjunct with Venus, Ketu in the seventh house, seventh lord in the eighth house, Venus afflicted by malefic planets. However, these placements do not deny relationships, but they create karmic connections. These relationships feel intense because they are often meant to teach emotional lessons. What's important here? Karmic relationships are most often misunderstood. People think these relationships were mistakes, but in astrology, these connections often exist to reveal emotional patterns. For example, a relationship may show us where we ignored the red flags. There were red flags, but another one may reveal where we compromised our self respect. Another could teach emotional independence. These relationships may not last forever, but they often change the direction of a person's life. Not every relationship is meant to become a lifelong partnership. Some relationships exist to transform us. They appear in our lives for a certain period. They teach us something important, and once that lesson is complete, that relationship ends. That's the longevity or the expiry. Astrology teaches us that emotional experiences are part of larger journey of growth. Have you ever experienced a relationship that felt incredibly intense at the beginning but didn't last? Share your experience in the comment. And if you want to understand relationship patterns in your birth chart, you can connect for an individual reading through the link in the description. I also put out a link over here, which you can select. And in the next video, I will also talk about why some souls may actually be designed for a life without marriage. Stay tuned to Kundli Doctor until then. Thank you.